The aircraft takes off, engine goes off, aircraft enters into a spiral dive. As soon as it hits the ground, the aircraft catches on fire, and that particular aircraft was carrying 12 gallons of oil. The CFI comes into the room, has this weird smile on his face that he had achieved something.
Hello and welcome, guys. Today we are joined by a student from 4 Aviators based in South Africa.
Thanks for having me. I have completed my training from 4 Aviators. I've already had my Indian shipyard as well.
What was the fees at the time you joined?
The price they have quoted me was round about 5,95,000 rands. This was the quotation that they have given us, but obviously there were a lot of flaws which we got to know after we went there, and then that price approximately went over 10 lakh rands. And the worst I have seen from other students that people touching 12 lakh rands and also 15 lakh rands. So it's more than double for what they have quoted.
What was the reason? Why did it exceed?
How it works there is basically, for let's take an example of PPL. Okay, so if PPL on your browser, it was written as 45 hours, and 45 hours, the money of 45 hours is included. Okay, but if you exceed even a single hour above 45 hours, you have to pay extra from your pocket. Okay, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
What needs to happen? So now if there is a very good student who knows how to fly and he's getting hold of the aircraft quickly, there are some students who do get hand of the aircraft very quick. So now, if for example there was a student who got his he was very good at his flying skills, so he was ready to go solo on the 15th hour. So his instructor goes up to the CFI and he's like, okay sir, he's ready for solo. Just please appoint me a senior instructor so that he can take his test for solo. And then the CFI asked him at what hour is, and he's like 15. So then he's like, no, we cannot send student at 15 hours. Our rule is to make sure that every student touches 30 hours before they go solo, even if they are ready at 10 hours as well. Okay, so so now you get your solo at 30 hours. Okay, so now only 50 hours is left as per your package. But in that 15 hours, you have to do a lot of other maneuvers. You have to do precautionary flying, you have to do forced landing, you have to do a dual lap, then you have to get your 15 hours of solo. That will easily exceed you and get you till 60 if you are really good, or it can go up to 100 or 120, with some other students have also gone there. So now this increases your price significantly, and the same routine takes place again in your CPL as well. So this is one of the flaws. The next flaw is obviously flying with the safety pilot. So you never go solo. Till your PPL, yes, you go solo, you are proper solo, you are rolling the aircraft. But as soon as you're done with PPL, you go, whenever you do your cross countries, 300 nautical miles, they just won't allow you to go solo in the aircraft. Why? If you go tell them, sir, I have flown this route multiple times, I want to go solo. Then their simple answer is, no, we don't trust you with your aircraft. That means you are not trusting your own instructors or what they are teaching. So does that make any sense? I don't think that it makes any sense. So now you are going with a safety pilot. What happens when you go with a safety pilot? You have to charge from your own money, your own pocket. You have to give money to the safety pilot on how many hours you fly. That's an additional cost. You are charging aircraft cost. We are giving alag se, and then we are also charging for the landing fees where we land. And they put the landing fees whatever they want. Now, a couple of students went for a long nap and they were charged around about 2,000 rands of landing fee, which is approximately 10,000. I'm not sure if it's 2,000. I'm sure it's more than that, but I'm still quoting on the lower end. And when we got to know that, then we got to know that there is no landing fee at all because it was an unmanned aerodrome, and they just didn't listen to us, and they just took the money off our accounts. And even if we go to fight, they're gonna cancel your visa. Even if you leave, you cannot leave the school because they have your logbook along. So I don't think any student has yet who has joined once 4 Aviators has never left because of a lot of problems they will face after they leave. A student did leave, but only one student had the guts to do this, and he left the school and he went to some other school. And the owner of the school made sure that he called up the school where he went, and he just spoke bad things about that student, which he didn't even do. just so that he cannot fly in any other school other than Ford Aviators. But still, the other school was smart enough and they knew how Ford Aviator operates. That's why they didn't give a damn about, about that, and they continued with his flight. Yeah. So these are the tactics which Ford Aviators play.
And is this still happening, or it was there at the time you joined?
It's worse now. My time, it was still better because the students were like less. They were around about 70 to 80 students when I was there. Now the number is 120 to 180 if I'm not wrong. Okay? It's just there. Just keep on taking students. They don't calculate that will they able to accommodate or not. They just keep on taking students in, and that keeps on lagging the older students flying, because they will give priority to new students first, because they have to make them feel, they have to make them feel like they are here. Once they touch 20 hours, their flying gets absolutely slow. They hardly fly because of overwork, because of overlogging of the students. They just don't calculate. Okay, they have a very big fleet. But what's the point if they don't have enough instructors to train them? Okay, if you have a big fleet, that means you should have a greater number of instructors as well to train them. But I don't see that. I don't see them doing any of that. And they still do campaigns. The owners of the schools still come to India. They go to every state hall, catch on to this small flying schools, and they go brainwash them that this is the best flying school, this is the cheapest and all. But once the student is there, they don't even keep any promises. Trust me when I say this.
You won't recommend anyone to go there?
No, I will really not recommend anyone who to four aviators, at least four aviators. And that's the only good Indian flying, like Indian affiliated flying school in Cape Town. Yes, now I'm sure that you're also aware that there are a lot of flying school in Johannesburg also suffering with the same problem. Yet students go there because they guarantee a cheaper price. But once they go there, like, I don't know the loopholes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it is cheap, but all the schools now know the loopholes of how to get money. So it is also getting saturated now, to be honest.
Okay, but let's say if we remove the issues with the school and we remove the delays and all, do you think the instructors, when they're teaching you, like till 20 hours, you are getting sorties, right? So do you think they're actually like teaching you, or they're just logging their hours, they're trying to push you?
At least I can say about my time when I was there, we had one of the best instructors before even that I ever had. All instructors was very well qualified. They were all seniors, had a lot of instruction hours. So when they teach you one point, and they try to help each and every instructor I know there. Always used to try to help the students, but they were born by what the management has to say. If management says no, then he cannot do anything for us. Okay, if even if he does anything for us, then he will get hammered back. After some point, he will get hammered, because then their ego is hurt now. Okay, these guys have a lot of ego problems. If somebody is called to the office and they don't listen to what they are saying, they'll make sure he doesn't fly for the next month. So this is how the school operates. They act like kids because their ego is the main problem. So instructors, I don't think there is any problem with instructors. At this point of time, I don't know what's the scenario, but I can say that there are a lot of young instructors. There are a lot of rookies who are teaching the new students. So I don't know how good they are and how well they can teach, like how our instructors use teach. And also the school is a very big. They have a bad part of racism. A very racist school. When I was there was not even a single black instructor. And even if there were black instructor, they were treated very bad. But now, once all the instructors left the school and all went to the airline, this school was suffering with they were not they didn't have any instructors. So now they started hiring black instructors. So you see, they run as per their rules. They wake up every day and make a new rule. Once they say that this is you cannot do this, and next day they will say you can do this because it's for their benefit. Okay, so they will not never see what was they'll never see the student benefit. See, they'll always prioritize their benefit over student benefit. When I would like to also mention that this might be a little bit wrong, but it's a very serious incident that took place and nobody knows about it. In four aviators, you are forced to fly. So one of the students was there. He was about to go for an nav. School is like, you have a rating, you have to fly. We'll not give you any other aircraft, or just sing, and we'll complete your hours later. Obviously, man, a student will always want to complete his task quicker so that he can get out of that, out of that shithole. But that he was forced. He goes for the flight. He goes for the flight. Obviously, there was a safety pilot on board the aircraft, which they actually send for safety. So the aircraft takes off. Aircraft was having some trouble. There was an RPM drop and all, which they tried to fix it, but still they fixed it. They said they fixed it on the ground, but it was not fixed. Again, the aircraft takes off 400 feet. Engine goes off. Aircraft enters into a spiral dive, and the aircraft, as soon as it hits the ground, the aircraft catches on fire. And that particular aircraft was carrying 12 gallons of oil. So the fire aggravates. I don't know how the instructor got out of the aircraft, but the student passed away, and there was not even a single, no, any. There were no remains found. And the worst part is when we were called to the school next day, there was not even a single meeting. There was not even a single, investigation on the school. Everything was covered. The CFI comes into the room, has this weird smile on his face that he had achieved something, and there was not even a single, sense of grief, empathy, sympathy. Nothing was there on the management's face. You know. So, and not even one day the operation was stopped. The school was still operating. The students were scared, but yet they were forced to fly. Yet they were forced to fly. Even after all of this, when I was on a nap, when I was on a nap, it was just not it was just not the right weather to fly. There were severe mountain waves on the significant weather chart. There were a lot of turbulence. The wind was not good. Yet we were forced to fly. Even I said the safety pilot, I want to turn back. I don't feel safe. Yet he was forced. I don't blame him. He was forced to fly. We went. Now we are at the destination, about to land. We were the second last people to land. And I think I was landing on, I think it was runway 28. And on the ATIS says wind 240, 40 knots, gusting up to 65. And we were flying on a 172, crossing component 17 knots. Yeah, now I cannot land. I said, I give up. You take controls. Trust me, he was the only instructor who can get me on the ground. He was one of the best I was flying with, okay? He takes the control, lands the aircraft somehow, doesn't speak for 1 hour from the journey from the airport to the hotel. I'm trying to speak to him. He's not in his senses. Comes in my room in the night and he's like, today was the day we would have lost. We would have completely lost the control and we would have dead. And yet we are, and he says, sorry to me. I should have listened after takeoff only, that they should have turned back. But I was born to all the statements given by the management. It is bad, man. Safety is the most priority. Like that's the one thing they are playing with, which is the most important. At least in my point of view, it is the most important.
Okay, so overall, I think the instructors are very, very good. They're well qualified, but the management is like forcing them to fly and they're like bounded to the management.
Yes, and also all the management are all flyers. They are all CPL orders. See, it's easy to say by sitting on the ground that the weather is okay. But do these three people have guts to come in the air? No, they don't.
Mhm.
They're flying a bigger aircraft, like a 177 so these bigger aircraft obviously have a greater wind component, right? So they can put the aircraft down, even if they crash land, it's fine. But 172 with a 17 wind cross component and landing in 40 degrees crosswind with 40 to 65 knot gusting, it's not easy. It's really not easy.
Yeah, but let's say someone wants to go to South Africa for flying, right? So I don't know about four aviators, but are there any good schools that you would suggest कि हाँ एक बार जाके you can visit it?
See, the problem is people are coming to South Africa because it's cheap. Correct. Yes, it's 100%, no doubt it's cheap. But the problem is that all schools send their students with safety pilots. Okay. Now, if you think about this psychologically, however well you plan your planning from point A to point B, you'll always have this in back of your head कि चल अगर ये गलत हो गया तो सेफ्टी पायलट देख लेगा और वो देखेगा ही भाई बिकॉज वो है ही उसके लिए बट आर यू लर्निंग एनीथिंग नो but if I still suggest a school which is kind of good, in my opinion, will be Mac one. Okay, it's still there. That school also has their own flaws, which I don't want to get into.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, that's the one thing. And Also, about for aviators, they don't look at the paperwork. Whenever the student is leaving the school, they don't look at the paperwork. Recently, 2 students' monthly got cancelled. The DGCA said that this is wrong. You have not flown. The test you have done is in a wrong order. I'm cancelling your whole multi. So you have to do your multi again from scratch. And one student was told to do all the checks and come back. Listening, just checking the documents is the only job of the CFI, and they still suffer. They lag doing that because they are absolutely lazy, playing with students' safety.
Mhm.
This is also one more thing that I want to, let this know. And also, a lot of foreign aviators are associated with this ground schools. The most famous one is, I don't know whether you heard about it or not. There are two people. I will mention their names because I don't have anything. I'm not scared of them. His name is Captain. He talks very nice to you on the call before all the payments have been done. Now, when we were suffering with this issue, when we called him, he is not picking up the call. And once he has picked up the call, he's like, I can't help you in this. I'm like, you are the one who sent us here. And how can't you help people? How can't you help them? You said that you are in good terms with the school. And he said, no, the school has removed us from the whatever contract they have. They are out of that contract. And this was before we went. So he should have informed us that he's no longer in touch with them. But when the problem arose, when he was in trouble, then he said his problem, and he couldn't even help us out in any way. And he was not even picking up the call. Once he picked up, it was of no help.
All right. And can we talk a little bit about your conversion process? How did it went, and from where did you do your conversion flying?
Conversion flying. I did my conversion flying. I would not prefer to say the name, but it was from up north. Up north, when I did my the conversion was smooth. There was no problem in conversion paper. Even when I submitted my documents, yes, it took a lot of time, but but I got my license converted. No problem in conversion, I would say.
Mhm.
There was not even problem during conversion, and everything was fine with that. Okay, so conversion not issue.
All right. If you want to add up anything, you can.
Yes, also, as I said, the schools have a lot of ego problems. If you don't listen to them, they make sure that they force your flying, they force a delay in your flying. And also, what else? Also about overlogging. South Africa suffers from a very bad problem of overlogging. So now try to understand this, a very simple example. So you do a flying, you do actual flying of 1 hour. So you take off, do your general flying, come back. It's 1 hour. But on your paper, you log it, you multiply that 1 into 1.3. So you are logging 1.3 hours. This seems okay when you are flying for shorter period of time. But once you get for flying 2 hours, 3 hours, the value, the 30% increases with a greater ratio. Okay. So now if you log 1.3, you have not flown for that zero point 0.3 hours. You have not flown for 18 minutes, but you are paying for the 18 minutes. The instructor is getting paid for the 18 minutes. You are paying for the extra 18 minutes of fuel. So these things add up your final final amount to a very big amount. So whenever you're going to a flying school, if they say that they are charging you 40 lakhs, you assume that it's 50 lakhs, right? Like 10 lakhs ka buffer, any koi bhi leke chalta hi hai. But if this four aviators is offering you all, if they're telling you that the whole package is for 600,000 rands, which is round about 30 lakhs if I multiply it by 5, so your flying should be done in 40 lakhs. But is it getting done in 40 lakhs? No. Minimum. Best of the best student I have seen has reached to 50 lakhs. Best. That's the bare minimum. I have seen people going exceeding 65, 70 as well. Because ego problems. This is pure ego problems. Extra logging, extra money, the concept of extra that you don't wait solo before 30 hours. I don't see where is this rule written. They say that it's a standard rule. It's not a standard rule. It's a 4 aviator rules which you make to earn more money from the students. Wow. Okay. And the school will not see how would you fly. It will never see how would you fly. Even I will tell you one example. One of the students was unfit for flying. The instructor came down on the ground, went to the room. He immediately said that he's unsafe for flying. I don't want to fly with him. Yet the instructor was forced to fly with the student. Then one day he said, send some other instructor and they'll tell me if he's wrong or not. So they sent a puppet from their school only. And he also came and said the same thing, that he's unsafe for flying, but we will get him there. Now you tell me, any bad student, how much ever he struggles, 40 hours he should get his solo. And that is actually very lot done saying in four aviators terminology, 40 hours you will get your solo. That student got solo on 85th hour. Wow. Solo is 85 hour. Imagine when he did, when BPN, night rating, CPL, and I have checked. I'm sure he might be about 300 hours. Trust me when I say this. So you see, they just need money. They will not even think once about your safety. Nothing. They only think about money, and they will make sure that you be good with them. If you're not, then you will be forced delays. If you are forcing delays, that means you are paying 1 month extra rent. Okay, and even in, well, now good point that I got myself, that the rent what the owner pays, the school pays the owner, for example, is 7,000 rands. But if in that area, if there are 4 students living, that the rent should be divided 7,000 by 4, right? This is what a normal he does. But obviously we are in 4 aviators. So now they charge each student 5,000 rand. So they are making 20,000 rands. They are paying 7,000 rands to the owner, and they are getting 13,000 rands of extra money in their pocket. This is another simple example of how you can see how 4 aviators operate. And nothing has changed since then. It has even become worse. Yeah, even become worse. So now, I think there is a new, the stakes have been sold by the owner. I don't know how many stakes. The stakes have been sold to some Indian guy, and he is operating the school. We thought that will get better, but it's not. It's getting even worse. He's acting same like how the last owner acted. So, still not a good place for flying. So, my message would be, guys, at least don't go for 4 aviators. Do your research proper. We talk to the students over there. Even some students are 4 aviators bait. So, what they do is they tell that, oh, the school is very good, and the school promises them to give a discount if they say good review about them. But once you go there, you both you both take a tissue and both cry on each other's shoulder, because he didn't get money and he is fucked because he has come to that school now. So you see, so talk to genuine students, talk to a lot of students, because 1 or 2 students will tell you the truth. Okay, other 2 students will might be bait, but you will find one student who will tell you the reality of the school. In my case, there was no one.
It's exactly what I say to students, that do not believe on just one person's opinion, because they can have variety of opinions depending on how you perceive a situation. Even for this video, do not consider this as a guide to join or avoid any school. Always ask a lot of students, then you can get a balanced idea.
Exactly. Even if you should ask you should ask the instructors of the school. They might also think some instructors are very helpful, and they might also help you to give the right call, I would say. But don't judge the whole school on one student. If one student has done good in that school, doesn't mean you're gonna do good. Yeah, okay. Who knows that he might be in very good with the management, that's why he's flying. What if you are not good with the management? You're flying and it can get extended, and you are in another country. So they have upper hand over you. You cannot go and you cannot go and show that we have paid you money, so act. They'll be like, you're in our country. So they know the rules of their country. They can cancel your visa, do anything. What would you do if a visa is cancelled in a country where you don't know where to go? South Africa is a very backward country. There is a lot of corruption. They don't have proper government, and also don't take any risk in dealing with the school in a bad. You always handle situations in a calmer way. Even no matter how bad in a situation you are, always try to be calm.
All right. I think we got a really good idea about the school. Thank you a lot for being open and sharing your experience.
Thank you, man. Always a pleasure. I just want to help other students to make the right call, because this field is very dynamic. Anything can go wrong any point of time. So yeah, just helping other students out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
If you want me to continue this series and make more such videos on some other flying school, then you can let me know in the comments which flying school you want me to cover next. And if you yourself are a student of a particular flying school and you want to share some insights about this school, then you can fill a form which is attached in the description, from where we'll set up a quick anonymous call and you can share your thoughts about a particular school there. And guys, do not take this video as a guide to avoid or join any particular flying school. Do your own research, because this is based on one student's personal experience at a flying school. So do your own research and then only decide which flying school you want to join. or avoid. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.